And we're back. Welcome back to more Isekai Realms. Chris, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. Okay, so you are standing in front of Briar House, having made your way back across town. Randy is going to go through his stuff and determine which of the many things that he had was stolen. Randy, you'll discover that it is in fact a small mirror that you brought with you from Earth. So you won't be getting another one of those that got somehow lifted and taken. So perhaps they'll reverse engineer this technology like Terminator 2 and you just doom the whole world. But if that doesn't happen, then everything will be fine. Mm-hmm. You have a moment out in front of Briar House to decide what it is you want to say when you go inside to Jamal about your experience at Castle Thalavar.
Well, Jamal probably knows who that person is.
Probably.
She might be able to give us some insight. We should also warn her that we made a very bad impression and there might be trouble that comes out of that. And that we did mention her, that we were guests of hers. We did not say that we worked for her or that we were her allies, exactly.
And we came out of this, I don't know how much we want to discuss with her, but I think what I feel we came out of it with was basically two options. One was try to track down one of the tall feet who originally served as a guard there and see if we can find a secret door, some way to get into the castle and see her bypass the matron of the guards. Or option two, try to waylay her at this public event in some way. But and somehow Jamal might be able to help in that, in the sense that we would need to appear as if we belong in a function for high people.
But our business is not actually with Thistle. Our business is actually to protect Gedrin.
Yeah.
So I don't. Maybe Thistle is a distraction. Maybe we don't need to get to her. Maybe we just need to find out where Gedrin is.
I mean, that is potentially a route we could take.
Something's up with her, though. So I don't disagree that we should keep focus. But it seems like if we can figure out what's up with Thistle, then maybe that makes her an ally in, what else we need to do.
Finnan will say,
idea.
As you say that, Rhiannon, that's fairly insightful, Rhiannon and Joel. I agree with you. It appears as though you have two noble missions standing before you. Definitely not side quests.
Indeed.
Oh no.
There was part of me that was like, maybe the street urchins would have observed someone using a secret door into the thing and that would tie it, but I don't. Yeah, that's not a third option, I don't think. That's just me wishing. Yeah. So if our goal is to get Gedrin and not necessarily Thistle, it sounds like maybe infiltrating the castle is a better option, or is it to still?
We don't even. Well, we don't even know if Gedrin's in there. I mean, we're not sure if that vision has already happened or if it is yet to happen.
You did speculate a couple of sessions ago, so several hours in the past, that there might be some other place that you might have had that vision might have been connected to. If I recall correctly, Eric, at the conclusion of that vision, at your prompting, Gedrin was running up a set of stairs and collided with the knees of a diaphanous purple robed wearing woman. And you believed that was something important in terms of where that location might be. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we could go to the Purple Lady.
Purple Lady.
Or whatever the Purple Lady's called at this point in time.
It's the Purple Lady.
I mean, I am curious what it would look like.
I take full responsibility.
Only having ever heard it described, I am curious. I will admit.
Well, I mean, so some of these things we can't do right off the bat. So it's no bad thing to have leads to be chasing while we're waiting. So we've got, we need to do the performance for Jamal at some point, maybe tomorrow. We need to, well, one of the things that we could do we can decide priorities later, is speak to Lady Thistle out in public tomorrow. We could try to get into the castle, to less to do with Thistle and more to do with Gedrin. We could go to the Purple Lady. So it seems like those at least somewhat Tetris up so far, in that we today talked to Jamal, see about getting the getting into the castle. I think going through the Tall Feet would be too long, a couple days. And then go to the Purple Lady this afternoon, and then tomorrow perform until it's time for the event with Lady Thistle out in public. Do the castle tonight if we can get somebody who knows how to get in.
So many possible paths, Finnan will say. Well, I suppose we should go in and give Jamal the bad news.
Yeah.
Okay, so he'll knock upon the door. Go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say, I think investigating the Purple Lady, because that might be where the vision was, is a really good idea. And
All
if
right.
no one else wants to do that, Allie and I can go do that.
Yeah, we can do
Because
that.
I know Allie wants to do that.
I think it makes sense for us to stick together.
Indeed, there is.
Since we don't know the
Generally.
city, if we get split up and lost, that's we're in rough shape.
Indeed, there is strength in numbers, Finnan will say. I, of course, being here to help you, will do whatever it is I can to assist you in whatever path you choose, side quest or not.
Okay. So,
The door will open. The dwarven butler that Jamal has will usher you inside, and Jamal is actually building a fire in the sitting room. So, over to you. Did you
My lady.
find out anything?
Potentially,
we
but not what we sought.
we did not gain an audience with Lady Thistle. We were
No.
stopped by a servant, by a rather stern-faced servant, who asked if we were with you actually, and had rather stern words for you.
Older woman, maybe in her 6th decade of life.
That sounds about right.
Mairn. Lady Thistle's chamberlain these last few years.
Hmm.
Marin, is that like slime?
Very
Is that-
rude.
is that a-
Yes.
I mistook her for a member of Thistle's family, but
Oh,
clearly that
she
was
is
not
not
the
a
case.
Thalavar. She was hired by the house. I stopped showing up there at around the time that her employ began. She made it clear to me in no uncertain terms what she thought of my influence on Lady Thistle.
Mhm.
I can't say I'm surprised, although I am disappointed. I was really hoping that you would be able to get in to see Thistle and to give me a sense of how things were going at the moment.
We
She
haven't
is-
given up on that.
She's a kind girl with a good heart, and she seemed to really believe in the people of the city and the change for the better, sharing power with them. Again, that wastrel Tristran Daunting Horn. I blame him for this.
I'm sorry, say the name again, please.
Uh,
Fistral Daunting Horn?
Tristran Daunting Horn.
Ugh.
Cormyrian.
Yeah, that's definitely a Cormyrian name.
So
Daunting Horn. Come on.
Now she
I will.
Now,
I will.
what-
I will
now-
laugh at that.
now, Mr. Jamal, when she looked at the ring, she did seem to have a rather strong reaction, and she actually mentioned the word blackmail, which was interesting. Was there perhaps, were there any stories maybe 25 years ago about a vigilante or a criminal who wore a red cloak in Westgate?
25 years ago?
I believe that's the time frame we're talking
There are
about.
always cheap heroes in Westgate. I'll have to search my memory for that, but it is pretty
Okay.
clear that Briar had some sort of secret life. So it's possible that the house knew a bit more about that subject. Her face pales considerably.
What's wrong?
She stopped
Yes.
talking for a moment. I would hope. No, that isn't. I don't even want to say that out loud. Let's just simply say that Did you get any information on Gedrin? I feel as though I'm the one that sent his mother and him and his baby sister into that chopping block.
I'll take her hand and I'll say, Jamal, as a new servant of Finder, I find that a story shared lessens the burden by half. Whatever it is that bothered you so, that you just thought of, perhaps sharing it with us will help ease your pain.
She'll look at you. She'll look down at your hand holding hers. She's a woman of considerable experience at life, and so she knows what you're doing by talking to her. But that doesn't mean that she's not moved by it nonetheless. She'll get a sort of bemused look in her eye, put a hand on your shoulder, and say, if it helps you, Randonius, I'm happy to tell you my speculations. If she was an embarrassment to the family, if she was meant to be the inheritor of the Thalavar family line, and she went missing, I just hope that there wasn't some sort of an attempt to elevate Thistle ahead of her because she was a better granddaughter than Briar was a daughter. I knew her mother. She was a stern woman. Good-hearted, I thought, but a stern woman.
I understand that would be very, very disturbing, especially given that Thistle was a friend.
Let us hope it isn't that. Not every dark thought is a true thought.
Indeed.
So-
And what was Tristan's relationship to Thistle again?
Courting her. She
Courting
had
her. Oh,
very little experience with men. She was a beautiful woman, but she was sheltered. And this was the first suitor that seemed to catch her attention. I
did he
tried to warn her off him, but she was a stubborn girl.
did he shower her with gifts like jewels and coin?
Money isn't what impresses Thistle. He was daring and a bit of a troublemaker. Trouble seemed to follow him. A rake. Does that term make sense?
Indeed.
Yes.
And I was just, I mean, I won't say this, but I was just thinking of that we found the giant pouch of Cormyrian coin. I was just wondering if obviously it seems to be a link. Anyway.
So any word whatsoever of Gedrin?
I didn't get that far.
I don't want to be presumptuous, but I didn't have a lot of faith that that lead would pan out in the way that you were hoping. So, and I hope you don't mind here, I made some inquiries of my own.
Oh, good.
Well,
Wonderful.
that works.
You
We
did the right
appreciate
thing,
your
Lady
foresight.
Jamal.
What did you find?
I sent one of my servants to reach out to thee, and she's gesturing to you, Allie, owner of that, well, former owner of the armor you're wearing now at the Purple Lady. I await word back.
Do you have reason to
I
believe that that is where they
see.
are?
We talked about this yesterday, Eve. You did actually discuss it. Because that's how you knew. That's how you knew the Purple Lady existed in the first place. Is Jamal told
yeah.
you about it? She said something to you about being able to acquire things you might want there with the appropriate amount of coin, et cetera, et cetera. So you didn't say to her, "I think we saw a vision in which blah blah blah," but you asked questions that got, that sounds a bit like when you were talking about the equipment that the woman in your vision was wearing. Go ahead.
All the
So I think that we had, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to do, I think that our next lead is potentially the Purple Lady. Could we maybe
I need
meet
to speak
your
with everyone for a moment.
sure.
Or not everyone necessarily, but Amara and I were discussing visiting the Purple Lady, and perhaps Rhiannon, or you would like to come with us just for a moment.
Okay.
And
Sure.
Randonius, why
Yes.
don't you stay here and continue keeping the Lady Jamal company? I just have a little bit. Yeah, come along, Joel. I'm just grabbing everybody I can without it seeming like
You're taking just the party. You have offered Randy up in that regard. Do you know anything about cooking, lad? We're putting together the midsummer feast.
Oh, I do indeed.
don't worry,
Excellent.
Randy, I'll tell you all this later. Okay.
So then come with us. Okay. So into the kitchen, you, Finnan, and Jamal will go. The rest of you will be headed where?
Let's go check on the kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We need all of us for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Mercy is going to be with them because that's who's watching them at
We
the
could
moment.
just go up to our room.
Yeah,
Jeez.
let's just
We
go
can
up
do
there.
that too.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The party venturing forth nobly to its rooms. Go ahead.
Okay. So
All right.
I have been wondering, trying to piece together how much of this experience is canonical and how much of it is not. And the reference to Tistarn Daunting Horn has convinced me that it's proceeding very clearly as written.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Tistarn Daunting Horn. Well, the easy way is to say he's a spy. High mask spy. And then to go further is that that's the form Orbach takes to expel Thistle.
Oh, Orbach. Okay.
The Night King.
Yeah, no, I know who that is.
I
Well,
don't.
I didn't, so thank you.
Okay. No.
The-
This. Okay.
So
clone, right?
Rhiannon,
Let me
Never
be
mind.
clear. Let me be clear for you and anyone
so,
watching.
hang on
This is
hang on
not-
1 second, Eric. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Anyone watching? What are you
So
doing?
Rhiannon,
Just forget I said that.
this sounds very dangerous. I'd be wary of this. Okay, continue, Eric.
I want to clarify. This is not my Night King. This is Manchun Night King.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Okay.
Did you say that
You
word
know-
out loud, Eric?
He did, apparently.
Very quietly.
did.
But yes.
Okay, thank you. Go, continue, please.
Yeah, there are eyes happening right now.
So, yes, Zental Keep is apparently really nice this time of year. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to go visit. But our path is probably not going to take us back there anytime soon.
No, certainly not.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily need to have followed all of that. What it sounds like is that
I
we
pull out
should.
a little piece of paper and I write the words. I said his name so he can probably hear what we're saying.
And they-
Apparently there's some kind of religious thing going on. I don't know. Let's avoid heading north for
Yeah.
the time being.
Yeah, I think I'm fine just sticking around here for now. Let's not
Yeah.
risk it. Seems like
I
a
hear
bad idea.
Hillsfar is really nice this time of year.
Yeah, could go to Waterdeep.
Oh, yeah, we could go to Waterdeep.
Yeah.
I may be able to help you if what you're attempting to do is be covert.
Please, God.
I can assure you I am not a god of any kind, but I nevertheless may be able to assist you. In conducting my researches, I believe there may be a power that you could all possess, if I'm speculating correctly. Could you please put your hand on Oh, no, he's not here. Could you please put your hand on Allie's shoulder?
That just happens out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I'll look over like
Now speak your thoughts.
I'm trying something out.
Hey, Allie, you can hear Rhiannon's voice in your head.
yeah, like the rest of you will just see me like sit up a little bit, like, and then I'll think back. Did that wait? Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed, you can, Rhiannon.
I put my hand on Joel's shoulder.
Okay, you'll put your hand on
Just make it
Joel's
happen.
shoulder. It is lower than your hand was a moment ago.
All right. We just look at each other and we're like,
What are we doing?
well, we're not going to Zental Keep, that's for sure.
I'm so confused as to what
okay.
we're talking about.
Okay.
So let's see. Can I? I'll hit whoever's on my other side.
Okay, so Joel.
Ow.
Not hit, but
we'll let it be Eric because
Okay.
that was funny. Go ahead. So you'll thwack Eric. Okay. Ow.
does it work with multiple people? That's so I'm thinking.
Interesting. Two things here. Number one, you're trying to broadcast and Eric's not receiving anything. You, however, Eric, feel a tingle of power flowing like an electric discharge between Rhiannon when she puts her hand on your shoulder and you. It's almost like she touched you with a static electric, like, whoa.
Yeah.
I wonder if we like close the circuit. I mean, like, I don't know.
I signaled to Joel to like grab Allie's hand or
What?
Or,
shoulder or
but
whatever.
I'll even reach over and like put my hand on Eric's shoulder. However, this is positioned. Just create a whole circle.
Well, Joel is the person that
Well,
would
in
be
that
the
case,
next
you'd be
in
putting
the.
your hand on
Okay.
my
Yeah.
shoulder. So.
Okay,
Okay.
so you'll put
Joel's
your hand
shoulder.
on Joel's shoulder. Do you want to do any thinking in that direction or not?
Can you hear me?
Yes, in fact, Joel, you can. Rhiannon, so can
Yes,
you.
and I say out loud, yes, I
Eric,
hear you. Why?
you cannot.
So Eric, thinking that I'll take my hands down. They're still there, but like
Mhm.
I'm going to do the thinking motion so that
Mhm.
because that seems like a good shorthand. For those of us watching, those of
Yeah.
you listening, you don't know when we're thinking or when we're talking.
Yeah.
So Eric is like a dead spot. I don't,
Just-
which is tough because he's the Is it
Uh,
because of Vindicator or? So this
mean,
is
it
all
could
going
be.
to Joel and Allie.
This,
So-
they receive
am I
that
getting that?
information. You do.
While
You,
this
Yeah.
yeah.
while this mental conversation goes on, I
Yep.
just continue rambling about Zental Keep in the moon.
Don't go. And, the
bunch of
weather
stuff.
this time of year is really miserable. And I mean, I really,
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of fish. So you're just going on and on about it. Got it. Check.
I hear Zental Keep is planning to invade Flan again. You'd think they would just not bother.
by
but
now-
at the very least.
So the three of you can communicate and hear each other. Rhiannon, when I do this is the voice, right?
Yeah.
The voice will say to you, you, Allie, and you, Joel, cannot hear the voice. Only Rhiannon can hear the voice.
Okay.
The voice will say to you, Eric is bereft of power. He spent all of his.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'll say
God damn
so
judgy voice.
apparently Eric used up all of his magic to do his thing.
The Vindicator thing.
So that's why he can't talk to us. So
Interesting.
so I will drop people and I will like motion to give me what you were writing on. And I'll write we can communicate privately, but you have no magic left. And then show it to Eric. And then I will write how long will anybody be listening in?
The weather is never clear up north. It's always foggy and hard to see. Hard to say exactly.
I will, for the purpose of convenience, allow you to communicate in real time, despite the fact that you're either mentally communicating or writing
Yeah.
some portion of the conversation. But
Okay.
because you're not threatened by anything, I'll let you just have free-flowing conversation. So you're
All right.
burning up paper and ink, Eric, but other than that, you're chatting with the rest of the
I
group.
mean, I did have a little notebook in my bag. That's the thing.
All right, make sure that's being
All right.
accounted for on your list, along with a missing mirror for Randy. Go ahead.
Okay. So back to the top then. What we're talking about is this person that we're dealing with is actually the Night King. That's
Mhm.
what we're dealing with,
Yes.
The-
aka Orbach, aka Manchun clone.
Mhm.
okay.
19th
This,
So-
level
this is the
wizard.
same. This is the same Night King from the Irregulars.
No,
No. This is
that was a
worse.
different
Okay.
guy.
I write
no, yeah,
down
much
I write
worse.
down the words 19th level wizard in my notebook.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not fun.
Okay, so bad news.
And I also write down the word vampire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Therefore,
Yeah.
I think we should change our focus. That is not a thing that we can like go charging in to save Thistle. So therefore, I think we should focus on Gedren. And if he is related to the Purple Lady somehow, like all the better. Like I would say, let's not be trying to approach Thistle in public. Like let's like set that aside. Seems like to me.
Well, they're gonna be looking for us at this point if we go anywhere near Thistle.
Mhm.
They know our faces. They have some of our names. So
She's a good person and I would not like to see ill befall her, but
no.
we might not be able to save her. Which is galling.
I mean,
anyway.
well, we'll drop a word in Jamal's ear that not that she can go up against him either, but like that, you know, whatever. I want to say Tristan, but I know that's not it. What's his name is not who he is presenting himself as. And like, I trust her to then at least be wary. We should grab Randy.
Speaking of being wary, I'd like you to think through the interaction that you just had on the steps of House Thalavar.
I mean, I kind of screwed it up, but
Not necessarily.
I wasn't suggesting that. I was merely asking you to engage in a bit of mathematics.
So how many guards were there?
Not exactly what I meant. I was simply trying to
Yeah.
get at 1 + 1 = 2. You upset that woman quite a bit, and we didn't burn her to ash. Most distressing.
So
She
so she'll
knows where
probably be-
you came from, and you left in the possession of an item that might be of interest to her.
shit. That's true.
That was entirely an internal dialogue. Nobody heard that.
Yeah.
So Rhiannon's going to now have to share it with all of you.
Bits of it.
Meanwhile, I've been writing in my notebook. Actually, the Westgate Irregulars did meet with this Manchun in that one time when they accidentally teleported into the underground lair with the Beholder. That was this guy.
I remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So also something to keep in mind is that now we're not going to use the signet ring to get to Thistle. We still have it, and they presumably want it. So we should consider whether keeping it and making us a target is worth, now that we don't necessarily have a use that we're going to put it to. Like, it's useful to have, however. Joel?
I think at a minimum we should Rhiannon should probably not continue to hold it because they'll be looking for it. I don't know if I want to stash it down in the crawl space or the hiding place, but I think at a minimum we should hand it off and keep it in an inside pouch.
Yeah.
I have a thought, and I'm not saying it's a
Yeah?
suggestion necessarily. If we give it to Jamal and have her say that she took it from us to return to the house, that might earn her some cred with the Thalavars. I mean, I don't think we can do that. Like, we can't go and say, "Hey, we were wrong to not give you the ring. Here's the ring. Please love us." No, I don't think that's going to work.
Maybe Jamal can use it to get to Thistle
Right.
because, you know, her.
I'm not sure Jamal will have any more luck getting past the
Marin?
Chamberlain than we will.
If Jamal brings that ring as a peace offering, no.
I
Maybe.
think that Chamberlain will probably just take it from her the way she did from us.
I don't know. If Thistle's a lot smarter than we are, and I mean Jamal's a lot smarter than we are. So maybe she can figure this out. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a thought.
You've left Randy in the kitchen for a while.
Yeah, I was saying we should get
Oh,
Randy somehow.
yeah. All right.
I s-
Let's go back and find Randonius.
I suppose also that could be worse if this was third edition. A certain somebody would be level 20 wizard with 5 levels of archmage on top of that.
Yeah.
Well, he will be tomorrow.
But
Oh dang. Anyway,
All right, so you're back
So,
downstairs.
when we go downstairs,
Yeah.
somebody try your little shoulder thing.
yeah, I can go up and kind of like pat Randy on the shoulder.
All right,
and then,
you'll
like,
find
bring him up to speed.
you'll find Randy in the kitchen with everybody else working on a grand feast for midsummer. It is, after all, late afternoon, about to be dinner time, and they're setting a guest table. Jamal will point out to you, Randy, that she's actually quite pleased that you're here because it's been a long time since she's had a bunch of people at the house, and this will be a great opportunity to have a much more festive and happy midsummer than she imagined that she was likely to have without you. So she thanks Finder for putting you all and her together for this holiday.
Great.
All right, and here come your companions, conspicuously plotting behind your back for a while, but now they're here. And Allie will place her hand on your shoulder.
Yep, I will do that. So we figured out a new trick, is what I'll think.
So if you could roll a 20-sided die for me, Randy, because that's shocking.
Yeah, you haven't had the voices in your head so far. I was just like, more voices.
10.
Okay, so you'll be startled briefly, but you won't drop the container that you were stirring mashed potatoes in, as suddenly Allie is speaking in your mind.
Okay.
If you think back, I'll hear you.
And I'll think back.
You will hear the thought equivalent of a sigh. And then I'll
cool.
kind of
it works.
I'll bring Randy up to speed on everything discussed. The fact that Cormyrean that we were talking about is a spy and is the Night King / Manchun / yeah, it's a thing. Manchun is the Night King and also that dude.
Ooh.
That's a spicy meatball, Randy.
Yeah. Also, I'm adding conspicuous amounts of garlic to these mashed potatoes.
Thinking to ourselves, we may need this in the near term. I want my blood garlic content to be 40%. Understood, Randy.
Yes.
Okay, very well. Do the rest of you want to assist everyone else in making dinner? They could use the hands.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm actually I'm okay at cooking, so I can do that.
Okay, so
I'm all right at it.
I am not, so I am going to go check on the kids.
yeah,
That's fair.
they are actually in this room.
Oh, okay.
Being merrily entertained by Mercy, who seems to have bonded quite nicely with them. She's feeding them at the moment. So Jamal will say, thank you all for assisting with this, and thank you all for everything you've done since you arrived. I want to, under the circumstances, because there's the least that I can do, having endangered the life of someone without even realizing it, give you all claim and title to anything that you found downstairs. Don't for a moment think that I have any desire to hang on to any of it. It will do you, in fact, much more good than it will do me. And Elric, I'd like to talk to you about something else after dinner.
Of course.
I may have something else that will be able to assist you. In the meanwhile, while you are out, May and Oldor stopped in. They were, in fact, departing town, and so unfortunately they had to go. But they also left something for me to give to you. And she'll gesture over at a chair where there is a leather rucksack. You last saw this leather rucksack on May, but it was the one given to her by Gandios, the owner of the inn, that he was stuffing with various items for her to take with her. Is someone interested in that?
I mean,
Don't-
I'll go check it out, but my hands are covered in potato.
Okay, there's a lot of garlic on that, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So,
I want everybody to be oozing garlic after this meal.
fair enough. I'm sorry, Joel, were you going to say something?
Was she having that conversation just to Elric, or was she addressing all of us?
All of you, out in the
Okay.
open.
All right.
She's not
But
hiding her views or feelings.
It's very
Okay.
generous of you, my lady.
Again, your guest to my house, my Lord Finder has brought you here. You are giving me as good a holiday as I have had in at least 2 years. We may not be a family, but it feels a bit like that, to me at least.
all right. Well, if everybody else is busy cooking, I will go see what's in the rucksack.
Okay, the rucksack contains a pouch that's clearly full of coinage from the way that it jingle jangles, 2 baby milk feeders that you might have needed along the way that you've used, 3 gray wool cloaks. They're
Oh, yeah.
solidly constructed, but non-magical, but 3 gray wool cloaks, and 2 like small clay vials stoppered with like cork and melted wax.
Are they labeled in any way?
They are not.
Hmm.
Okay, Randy, you
I
were
guess-
also looking.
Yeah, I'm looking, and with my I don't know, what do I have? Like a small percentage of ability to.
Determine if there's anything you can know about an item.
Yeah.
You can throw a couple percentile dice for me and tell me what
Okay.
number you roll.
I do have something to engage Jamal in conversation with.
Sure, absolutely.
While he's getting out the dice, I just want to tell you. I wanted to say, so you mentioned that the Lady Thistle was being courted by Cormyrian. Do you know anything about this man? I'm just curious. A friend of mine is a great lover of all things Cormyr.
She will in a moment answer your question. What is your roll, Randy?
32.
All right. These are some clay vials filled with liquid. That is what you were able to deduce with your 32.
Sound burning right
All
there.
right.
Okay.
All
So
right.
back over to the Cormyrian question. She'll give a physical description of him that sounds an awful lot like what your physical description of Manchun might be.
Yep.
She'll say the Daunting Horn family, from what I'm given to understand, is one of the families of Cormyr that is held in not the highest regard. They were in some sort of a dispute with the crown a long time ago and took most of their activities outside of Cormyr. He appeared in town, caroused his way through, the usual places that you would expect a nobleman to carouse, and then suddenly started darkening her doorstep. At first, she laughed him off, but they went on some evening out, and it was like she was a different woman. If I didn't know better, I'd say that he used magic to charm her. She says that unironically.
He does sound charming. That's true. So, are there other Cormyrian families operating in the city?
Yes, I'm sure there are at least 2 or 3. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I could find out for you. What is it you're seeking to determine?
Oh, I was just curious. As I said, a an old friend of mine who I see once or twice a year loves all things Cormier. And next time I see him, I'd love to tell him all about this conversation.
Oh, well, I'll do what I can upon the morrow to find out what more I can about the Cormerian families active in the city.
I am literally talking about Brian Curtillo.
Oh, I know who you're
anybody's
talking
interested.
about. I 100% know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I know that House Bleth and House Cormeril come to Westgate at some point. I don't know if they're here yet.
Gotcha. And you're trying to deduce that.
Mm.
But
All right.
basically, yeah.
Entirely reasonable.
All right. Anyway,
Okay. So if you have nothing else in the short term, you'll finish preparing dinner and they'll start laying out the feast. So you guys are hungry. You haven't eaten a ton today. You ate a little bit earlier in
Yeah.
the day, but wouldn't hurt to sit down and have a fantastic midsummer feast. It is a feasting holiday in the sense that Thanksgiving is a feasting holiday. So this is really one of those days where, at least during some portion of the day, families get together and they, share a great meal with each other, and it's a bonding opportunity. And although, as Jamal said, you aren't strictly a family, you all have some connections to one another. And this will be, if you give it the opportunity to be that, a very pleasant and bonding experience between all of you.
Nice.
Yes.
Randy has something for us that he wants us to know, though, too.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, family Thanksgiving. But
Yes.
found family Thanksgivings are fine. But Rihanna stepped away from it. I don't want it to take up bunch
Sure.
of time, but like maybe just a roll of the dice kind of a thing. But I was thinking about asking Finnan to accompany me, and because all of this is making me feel bad. Like we have all of this food and this family, and then I start thinking about those 3 little kids, and maybe take Finnan back to that intersection just to see if I can find them.
All
But
right.
again, I don't want it to take.
Finnan.
chaotic good madman. Yeah.
Finnan is willing to do that after dinner if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So, Joel, looked like you were about to say something just then.
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
Just gonna tuck in and enjoy a
eat the
pleasant
meal.
evening of.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Food.
I'm gonna enjoy.
Okay.
I will probably have changed out of the leather armor for dinner, but
Yes, I think that's probably a good idea. The leather armor, remember, being slightly tight. And so you'll just make it tighter eating this big dinner.
a little bit.
So we were talking, Rhiannon, about how this is really kind of like a Thanksgiving. And so you guys are sort of a found family, but you're all got common cause, and you will have one of the sort of nicest moments that you've had since you arrived in the realms. You feel at least somewhat like you're home here. It's a safe place. You know it. The people here seem to be good people who seem to care about you and about what you're up to. And they've put on quite a nice spread, which is, wine, ale, and mead to drink, chicken, lamb, and fish to eat, as well as sweet treats and desserts. So you can stuff yourselves, quite admirably in the time that you have to do that, if that's what you'd like to do. Breads and cheese as well. The babes being fed milk. No one's named them yet, right? We haven't gotten around to that.
I put it. I remember I put it in Discord because I was going to forget.
You suggested Aurea and Argentia.
Okay. Do you wish to communicate that to anyone, or we saving that for another opportunity?
Well, I mean, we're going to have enough of a different ranging conversation during this, I presume that it would come up, because if it comes up, I'll suggest it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Assume it comes up.
Midsummer seems like a great time for christening with names.
Okay.
As it were.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll also mention. Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
I'll just say, I'll mention to Jamal that where we come from, it is tradition to go around and say what we are thankful for in this feast.
As the host, should I begin or should I go last?
If you wish to begin, or as the host, you get to choose.
Well, then I shall go first. You tell
Okay.
me if I'm doing this wrong.
Not at all.
I am
I don't
thankful.
think you can do it wrong.
Well, customs are
What are you
customs.
thankful for?
I am thankful for all of you and for the blessing of Finder to bring us all here together and to set us on a common cause together to do what good we can for the people here of Westgate. Finnan will provide a little golf clap and he will say, Finder's blessings upon all of you. Could you all roll a 20-sided die for me?
7.
11.
3.
Okay. Anyone roll
11.
anyone roll over a 15? Okay, anyone roll under a 5?
I rolled a 3.
3, okay. There was magic in them thar words. And a blessing will actually settle down on your shoulders. You'll feel it as if it were the air were slightly electric, and then it settles into sort of like a warm feeling in your chest. Randy, that feels good, safe, comforting, and you feel the greatest sense of security that you've felt since you've arrived here. Did I do good? Jamal will say.
Oh, you did wonderfully, Jamal. Thank you. And I share your sentiments fully. I'm very glad that Finder led us to your doorstep.
So who is to go next?
I can, I suppose. Kind of sit and think for a moment. I'm thankful for new beginnings and the potential for whatever adventures lay ahead of us. Certainly there seem to be a lot, but I'm just thankful to be here.
Finnan
You're
is
here.
nodding. The road calls to all of us, lads. And next? You guys are so good at the intros and the outros.
I am thankful that I
Yeah.
seem to have shed the smell of the sewer.
Finnan
That I could
seems
sit with good people who I care about.
Finnan seems confused about that remark, but everyone else finds it very entertaining.
Don't worry, Finnan, you're not missing much.
Okay, next.
Good food, good company. Ibid, which is a joke that I don't
Yeah,
expect any.
no,
Actually, I'm like,
I got it.
We got I don't know if they did.
I will actually ask the voice, like,
Mhm.
that's probably a joke even you don't get.
I'm afraid I do not.
It makes me
My
feel a little bit happier to.
my roots are here,
Interesting.
not where you are from. Okay. All right. And I believe Joel, did you go?
I did not, so
Okay.
I will similarly, Ibid, grateful to be here with fine folk, sharing a pleasant meal and a nice evening to mark to mark the height of summer.
Excellent. And Randy, I don't know that you actually gave a speech.
No. I am thankful that Finder and Fate have led us to this doorstep, to Jamal, who has proved to be an excellent host and has not only aided us in our purpose, but given us purpose anew in this place to help guide us forward on our path home and give us a meaningful way to get there. Thank you.
Well said, lad, Finnan will say. Well said. And I suppose, other than simply offering a blessing to all of you, that I am thankful that the goddess of luck and the lady of navigation and moonlight shining into the darkness of this world set me here with all of you. I feel like I'm in the right place with this merry band of reckless fools, trying against the odds to do what's right. And helping the helpless, even though they're all so far from home. He'll shoot you a wink, Randy.
No.
Fair enough. So you will tuck into dessert then.
Oh yeah.
As you do that, Eric, she will say to you, I have something, an item that Mintassin left in my care because he thought that it might be useful to me. But I believe, given the dark paths that you are likely to walk, that it will probably prove more useful to you than to I. If you'd take it, Shadowbane, I'd give it to you after dinner.
Very well. I shall not reject your generosity.
Excellent. I think it will help you see through.
Not even going to pretend to.
He's just accepting the title straight up. Well, I mean, he did already kind of tell us that.
Hey,
that's probably.
she's very wise, and when people give you gifts, I think it's good to accept them in the spirit they're offered.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
That is fair. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So as you are having this meal with laughter and good company, and before you have a chance to finish dessert and get your gift, there will be a knock upon the door. Do we want to draw weapons, or do we want to wonder who has decided to also drop gifts at the door?
mean, I might keep. The hand might wander to the stiletto again.
You like that
let
stiletto?
Somebody not us answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair.
She has her dwarven.
He is in fact
Shaper?
getting up from the table because it is his job to answer the door.
To see what voices we hear.
Okay,
So
so
I'll kind of follow at a discreet distance. I'll be like a relay between that person and the rest of the group, just in case. Because we
Okay.
can still. Can we hear each other's thoughts still?
Oh.
Allie, can
No,
you hear me?
it's when touching.
that is
Only when
correct.
touching.
Only when in
Okay.
physical
I
contact.
wasn't sure if that was an activation or a. Okay.
No, it is actually just only when in physical contact with each other.
Okay. All right. all right.
And someone you'll discover this trial and error. Someone on some end of it has to be using bare flesh for the purpose. Doesn't have to be bare flesh
Okay.
to bare flesh, but someone on one end of it needs to be using bare flesh for the
So,
purpose.
so no like elbow touches.
No elbow touch. Well, unless they're bare.
This
Or knees under the table.
This is why
Unless
the
you're
team
wearing
starts
shorts.
using fingerless gloves. Yeah.
There you go. Whatever works for you. So when you go to get up from the table, Randy, Finnan will touch you gently on the shoulder and give you a nod like, do you want him to go with you? Like, do we need to back him up? Or are you just going to eavesdrop? All of that conveyed in a look.
I'll say, yeah. Why don't you come along?
Okay, so he'll also get up from the table and
In case
follow
he
in
may
your wake.
recognize who's at the door.
Who knows? Okay, so the dwarven chamberlain will open the door, expecting there to be someone on the other side of it, observing through the thing, not seeing anyone, and in fact look down to discover that someone has left a black scroll tube, wax sealed, outside the door. He goes to pick it up. Finnan stops him and says, lad, a moment. Finnan puts his hand on the symbol around his neck, whistles a little tune, and then says, the only magic in that is probably the magic that you would expect to find in flash paper. Whoever wrote you that note has a flair for the dramatic, but it's not going to explode in your face. So I should pick this up. Then. He'll turn to you, Randy.
Yes, but do not open it until.
Okay.
What's the seal?
It's a wax seal. What's pressed into it? You're asking? Yeah, you'll have to get a hold of it to see what that is. Okay. So, handing that to you, the dwarf picks it up. He turns and hands it to you, Randy, since you seem to know what you're doing.
Okay. I will just take it back to the group.
Okay.
And say, someone has delivered a message. Do we recognize this seal? And I'll and particularly make sure that Eric and Joel can see it.
Okay. It appears to be it's like a stylized animal head with pointy ears. Could be a wolf. It's hard to tell. It's very crude. Jamal, when you flash it around, will say, I think that's my contact, and ask you for the scroll.
Very well.
I'll hand it over.
Okay. She'll break the wax seal. No explosions will occur. Dump out the letter that is the contents of it inside, roll it open, and begin reading it. As she does, it will, burst into flames in the flash papery sort of a way. She'll be briefly stunned, but end up chuckling about that experience.
The mission, should you choose to accept it.
Why doesn't that surprise me? She'll say. Well, it appears as though my mission has borne some fruit. I have a little bit of information, and I think I might be able to get you, using my contact, into the Purple Lady, but it won't be apparently until much later this evening. Are you interested? She's talking straight to you, Eric.
Yes.
Apparently, there is some sort of important event occurring there at this particular moment, a party for the elite of the city. But the doors will open after midnight at the conclusion of midsummer to allow other individuals in. I'm told that my contact can get you in if one of you is wearing a briar rose. She'll chuckle at that. A sign that I sent you.
I see.
She may be able to answer some of your questions.
Isn't the brooch we found downstairs a Briar Rose?
Yeah, the
It
brooch is
is.
the
Yeah.
magic.
Okay.
So who wears it?
Well, I think any of us could be the symbol, or
Did
it's
we
just a mark
determine-
that.
Yeah. Did we determine what the brooch does?
Your
I believe
best
we did, yeah.
Your best guess is that it is a combination of defensive magic and healing magic. That's your best guess. That's based on what Finnan was able to tell you with his observations and the magic that he used to determine what kind of sorcery was on the device.
I think Rhiannon should wear it.
I also think that maybe Rhiannon should be wearing the mask when we go, so she doesn't look like herself. Because if that Chamberlain is going to have a grudge against anybody, it's going to be her.
It's gonna be her
Yeah.
or
Okay.
me,
So
but probably her.
maybe, but
In which case, I could still keep the signet.
Yeah.
oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Because
I guess we should dress for a night out then.
well,
Yes.
we still have some time before then, right? Because I want to
Well,
go to.
You
the
Right.
have
magic shop.
about 4 hours before you're going
Night
to
out
be
at
able
the
to get in
Purple
there.
Lady.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, put those leathers back on, lass.
Oh, is
Just
that
to-
the kind of night out
Or-
we're going for?
Or can she maybe get us in by the delivery entrance? I'm gonna gesture Eric to actually. Oh wait, he can't hear me. So yeah, I'll gesture Eric to lean down and say, "Hey, what you saw, what you saw,
Yes.
it would look like it was probably in the cellars. Yes, so maybe we don't want to go in by the front door. If
Perhaps.
she can get us in the back, plus we could bring in our equipment. We don't have to dress like we're going to a party, or at least not all of us do. If we're going in by the delivery entrance.
This is wise.
Do you need me
I'll
to
touch- I'll
accompany
touch-
you? That's Finnan. Do you need me to accompany you?
I mean, I think it's a good thing.
I'm happy to, if that's what you'd like.
We
Brandonius?
do appreciate your company, Finnan.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to have you around, and a boon as well.
Sure, I shall go with you then. Who exactly are we looking for? That's to Jamal. My contact, the former owner of the armor you were wearing not so long ago. She goes by Arita these days.
Oh, God. God.
What? I
All
take
right.
it. Okay. I will just.
Ah.
I'll look at Eric. I'll start to say something, and then I'll just flip. No. Okay. Later.
You should definitely put those leathers back on.
I guess I'll go put the leathers back on.
All right. And so that is where we shall end our session for tonight. Over to you,
All
Eric.
right. Well, there are mysteries that are about to be revealed and lots to explore, and I'm looking forward to it. I have been Eric Scott DeB, writer, game designer, one of the founding members of the Westgate Irregulars, as several people are here, and thank you for watching this show on the Dungeon Scrawlers. Tune in next time, whenever that's going to be, for more of this story. Take it away, Allie.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie for short, writer, game designer, TTRPG streamer. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. We'll see what comes next. Not a founding member, but I've been here for a while, so thumbs up for that. I don't know. I'm bad at these.
I've been Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held. Check out my Silver series. And space opera is RZ Held. My space opera novella series is now complete if you like that kind of thing. Emotional support cat, snarky AI, nanite technology, all kinds of cool adventure and romance. The Amsterdam Institute series, starting with Clean Install, is that one. And tonight, or whenever this airs, thank you to whichever moderators are in the chat.
Randy Henderson, the Scarlet Letter. I don't know.
Still
And,
made that your vigilante name.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
The author and yeah, I remember the Dungeon Scrawlers. Good to meet you.
All right. And I've been Joel Everett. Thank you for watching. Come hang out on the Discord. Talk to us about fun, nerdy topics. And yeah, see you next time. Over to you, Chris.
All right, very good. It has been a pleasure, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Sooner than you think, I suspect.
Dun, dun, dun.